My name's Steve. This is Classified Captures. Strange beings by the side of the road. Hauntings. Aliens. Why don't we just get on, huh? Take a good look at this. What does it remind you of? And no, I'm not referring to the dark scenery, but rather that which walks and creeps within. Seen it? Yeah, that. It's not something you see every day, is it? This was recorded by an older woman in Hamblin County, Tennessee. She installed the trail camera that captured the clip you're watching after she noticed tomatoes and other produce were getting stolen or taken from a home garden. She was hoping to catch the thief or creature responsible for it, but she didn't expect to capture this. Confused, she uploaded it online so you and I could lend our expert opinion. Much of the paranormal believing community is conflicted concerning the clips. Some believe we're dealing with a crawler, whereas others believe this is something more, perhaps something a bit more dangerous. Some were also surprised this was news to outsiders because, well, it's something that was common where they lived. A few others advised that the old woman placed vegetables outside, especially since that's all the creature seems to be interested in. What would you have done in her position? And I almost forgot. Hamblin County is in the Appalachian Valley, so yeah, you get what I'm trying to say without me saying it, right? Okay, on to the next. Do you believe black magic exists? If you answered no, then you aren't alone. These ice agents didn't believe it either until they came across this doll tied to a tree with pins stuck in it. Initially, it looked funny. I mean, they couldn't believe someone would actually try to scare them off using primitive methods like this. They didn't immediately take it down, though. They went about their business as usual until they started falling sick one after the other. Some had stomach issues accompanied by diarrhea, whereas a few had headaches that couldn't be explained. It became so bad that they started missing work. Later, many of the dolls were found around the country in a similar state. Any ice agent who encountered them started to have the symptoms I mentioned earlier. It was at this point that they realized that perhaps there is more to this. A little research pointed to it really being black magic. Well, sounds too good to be true, right? I felt so, but I searched up the story all over the internet, and there seems to be a general consensus that this is legit. This person, for instance, states that she's from New Orleans and that this was true. She also mentions that they left the city after encountering these dolls. Another user mentioned that she'd worked with a Haitian who didn't practice these things but still warned her that she ought to be careful around those who did. You'd think people would be concerned about this, but no, they were actually happy about the developments. Do you think this is real, or is it all just mind games to get to these agents? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments section. Apparently, Dean Cain from Superman fame is now an ICE agent, which is a bit sad if you ask me, but there you go. So maybe this is Lex Luthor trying to put like a jujus on him or something. Have you heard of the LaLaurie Mansion? It once belonged to a wealthy woman named Delphine LaLaurie, who lived there in the 1800s. On the surface, she was seen as a respected social figure, but behind closed doors, something far more sinister was taking place. According to historical accounts, LaLaurie tortured enslaved people inside the home for years. The truth only came out after a fire broke out in the mansion, forcing authorities to intervene. What they discovered shocked the entire city. Enslaved people had been brutally tortured and mutilated in the basement. From that moment on, the house gained a reputation that never faded. Over the years, different owners moved in, but none stayed for long. Many reported strange noises, shadowy figures, and an overwhelming sense of dread. Some believed the spirits of the victims never left, trapped within the walls where they suffered. In a more recent case, a woman visited the mansion with her family and took a photo from outside the building. Later, while looking through the image, she noticed something disturbing. Standing on the balcony was what appeared to be a figure completely still. The figure looked human, dressed in clothing from another era, and appeared almost transparent. Now, some believe this could be one of the spirits tied to the mansion's dark past. Others say it could be nothing more than a light shadow of pareidolia. But given the history of the house, many find it difficult to simply look away.
Mommy said you left.
And just like that, we're back to another case involving an imaginary friend. This clip was captured by a mother who believed she'd succeeded in getting rid of her daughter's imaginary friend. They had this camera set up, just in case, and boy, did it capture more than they'd anticipated. In the clip, we hear her daughter talking to an invisible person. She even mentions this invisible being that her mommy said it had left.
You're not supposed to be here. Mommy said you left.
I'm not sure if it's just me, but did you hear it? Anytime the girl talks to the imaginary being, there's some strange feedback as though it were talking back to her. The odd thing is, we hear no words except the strange sound. The young girl, on the other hand, appears to fully understand this sound. I doubt any parent would want to experience anything like this, but what do you think that little girl is conversing with? Also, if she were your child, what would you have done in this situation?
You're not supposed to be here. Mommy said you left.
This is not the kind of photograph you expect to take at a family gathering, yet for some strange reason, it's the kind of photo that came out during a birthday party. Yeah, this was supposed to be a picture of the birthday girl, but you can barely see her. Instead, we have a human-sized object horizontally flying above their heads. The object, a person or a being, well, hard to say at this point, appeared to be in a number of the pictures taken during that exact moment. The one who uploaded the clip online insists there was nothing there that could have caused that. The only explanation here is a paranormal one. Either it's a ghost or an interdimensional being. Not everyone's sold on the idea though, but there's only one opinion I care about, yours. So tell me what you think. Lately, more and more people have been reporting dreams about the same eerie place. They call it Mole World. It's usually described as a massive indoor complex filled with endless hallways, escalators, food courts, hotels, and strange sections that connect in ways that shouldn't be possible. What makes these dreams stand out is how consistent they are. Many people say they don't just visit once, they return again and again, recognizing areas they've seen before and moving through the space as if it had its own rules of memory. Psychologists argue that this could be the brain recycling familiar liminal spaces. Malls, airports, schools, places tied to transition and uncertainty. Stress, nostalgia, and even online suggestions could be shaping similar dream environments across different people. But recently, the stories have taken a darker turn. Some dreamers now claim they're encountering shadowy figures and demonic entities inside Mole World, beings that seem aware, intelligent, and deliberately misleading. These figures are said to lure people down restricted corridors, toward locked doors or dead ends, always carrying a sense of danger. Now, whether this is collective symbolism or something feeding on the dream space itself, one thing feels disturbingly clear. Mole World no longer feels empty, and whatever is there may not want you to wake up. How do you usually get rid of personal items like old toothbrushes or worn clothes? Most people toss them out without thinking twice, but after hearing this story, well, that habit might feel a bit different. One day, a woman was home alone when there was a knock at her door. When she opened it, she saw a man standing there with a young girl. She assumed it was his daughter. Without much explanation, the man handed her 2 electronic toothbrushes. Confused, she asked why he was giving them to her. He said that a friend had asked him to deliver them. He refused to explain further, then he turned around and walked away with the girl, leaving her standing there holding the toothbrushes. Later that day, when her parents came home, she told them what had happened and showed them the items. That's when the situation took a disturbing turn. Her parents recognized the toothbrushes immediately. They said they belonged to them and had been thrown away nearly a year earlier after they brought new ones. That raised an unsettling question. How did a stranger get access to items that had been discarded so long ago? The only explanation is that someone went through their trash, kept these personal items, and somehow returned them. In many paranormal belief systems, personal objects like hair, clothing, or toothbrushes are believed to carry a connection to the person who used them. Some associate these items with rituals, hexes, or symbolic attachments, and whether you believe that or not, this situation does not feel random.
Now, I used to have a sister that used to go to a girls' school in England, and she told me that electric toothbrushes were banned from her school. I wonder why.
Recently, there's been a lot of buzz among the ghost-believing folks in the paranormal community. They claim ghosts are showing up with yellow eyes in many locations. Well, I initially brushed it off as one of those things till I saw what's on your screen right now. Now, I'm not sure how they're related, but the young man you see in the image had lost his mum a few months prior to taking this picture. This was meant to be a random picture of him smiling and looking all happy, even though that's not exactly the case. After taking the picture, however, he and the photographer noticed that there was a being in it with yellow glowing eyes. First, the image scared them. Then, as the fear subsided, they became curious. They then started to examine the strange being in the image, and that's when they made a shocking discovery. The creature that scared them actually looked like the boy's late mom. This led them to conclude that it had to be a ghost or at least a demon taking the form of their mom to either reach them or manipulate them. Some family members who saw the image felt the same way. A few were, however, skeptical, thinking the boy was doing this for attention. He uploaded this to get the opinion of others, and that's how we came by the image. But what do you guys think? A video captured by Rafael Navarro Ferrari has been making waves online. While watching a NASA live feed from the International Space Station, he noticed something unusual moving across the screen. He replayed the footage several times, going back and forth, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. The more he watched, the more convinced he became that this was not a glitch or a random visual error. He believes it could be an alien craft. According to Raphael, the footage appears to show a massive structure, something resembling a mothership, interacting with or manipulating Earth's atmosphere. The images all come directly from NASA's live International Space Station feed. This isn't the first time Raphael has pointed out anomalies from the station's cameras. He's documented many strange occurrences before, which is why some people take his observations seriously. For them, this is just more evidence that we're not alone. Others remain skeptical, saying it could be lighting, reflections, or camera artifacts that look far more dramatic than they really are. A few others that have watched the live feed have stated they've also seen funny things themselves. But what do you guys think? Scientists at Penn State have introduced a futuristic audio system called audible enclaves, and it almost sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. This technology lets you hear sound without putting on headphones or wearable devices. Here's how it works. It uses ultrasound waves which travel silently through the air. Two beams are sent out at slightly different frequencies, and when they meet at a very precise point right at your ears, they interact and produce sounds you can actually hear. What's really remarkable is how personal the audio is. You hear it perfectly, but everyone nearby hears nothing. The waves can even bend around objects to reach the listener. So far, tests have shown it works at a distance of about 3 feet. Now imagine a sound that follows you, audible only to you. Would you give up your headphones for a device-free experience like this? Let us know in the comments. Personally, I can't wait to try out the technology myself. Late-night drives are usually quiet, empty roads, steady headlights, nothing out of the ordinary. But sometimes they turn into something far more unsettling. One night, a man was driving home when he noticed a dark figure standing on the side of the road. At first, he assumed it was someone who needed help, but as he got closer, something felt wrong. The figure was far too tall. That unease hit quickly. He sped up and drove past, but managed to catch it on his dash camera. In the footage, you can clearly see a large, shadowy figure standing motionless at the edge of the road. Curiosity got the better of him. After passing it, he decided to circle back and take another look. When he returned, the figure was still there. This time, it appeared even taller, wearing what looked like a long, dark robe that blended into the night. There were no visible facial features, nothing that clearly confirmed it was human. Many believe encounters like this are connected to what are often called shadow figures. These entities are described as tall, dark silhouettes that appear in isolated places, usually at night. Some believe they're paranormal watchers, others argue they're tricks of light and shadow. But what keeps people questioning is how these figures remain completely still, and how they seem to appear and disappear without explanation. The man eventually drove away for good, choosing not to get any closer. Even now, he says he's no explanation for what he saw that night.
What the freak was that?
Did the world end in 2024? Now, okay, I know that sounds crazy, but if you're in the West, then you know of this telecast where the ball is usually dropped the moment the new year starts. The funny thing is, in the year 2024, all who watched the broadcast, or at least some who did, noticed that although there was a countdown, the ball never really dropped. All things being equal, this shouldn't be a problem, right? People are, however, starting to feel like there's a link between this and some of the strange events that have happened after 2024. This includes time suddenly moving faster than usual, as well as the glitches we sort of see. Some in the paranormal community believe that the world may have ended and this is all a simulation. At first I thought they were teasing, but the comments proved otherwise. There are a few people who argue that the ball dropped though. What about you guys? What do you believe? Are they onto something, or are they seeing only what they want to see? While you're thinking about that, let me show you something else that recently set the internet on fire. This footage was shared by a pilot flying over West Yellowstone. Mid-flight, he noticed something on the ground that immediately felt off. No labels, no markers, nothing showing up on the map, just a large organized structure sitting out in the open where, according to him, nothing was supposed to be. Confused and curious, he uploaded the clip online and asked a simple question. What is this? That's when the theories exploded. Some people were convinced it was a hidden military base, possibly used for testing classified weapons. Others went even further, suggesting it could be an extension of Area 51. And once that idea entered the conversation, things spiraled fast. But as the debate heated up, one commenter stepped in with a very different explanation. According to them, what the pilot captured wasn't a secret base at all. It was likely Bryan Field, also known as 2MT1, a private backcountry airstrip near West Glacier, Montana. The airstrip is owned by the Recreational Aviation Foundation and was donated by Ben and Butchie Ryan. It's designed for recreational pilots, not military operations. Grass runway, small pilot shelter, camping cabins, and a required safety briefing before landing. In other words, not classified, not hidden, just remote. So what first looked like a shadowy installation tucked away from public knowledge may actually be a quiet retreat for aviation enthusiasts. And it's a good reminder that sometimes the most unsettling discoveries do not lead to secret programs or underground hangars, just places most people never think to look. But still, if you spotted something like this from the air with no context at all, what would you have thought? So I discovered something, and it's got me thinking. During the Great Depression, the US government forced citizens to hand over their gold under threat of fines and prison. Executive Order 6102 made private gold ownership illegal, and Americans had to sell their gold at a fixed price. Shortly after, the government raised the official gold price by nearly 70%, effectively transferring wealth from private hands to federal control. The reason was simple. The gold standard limited the government's ability to expand the money supply, but centralizing gold, authorities could increase liquidity and fight deflation. Today, there are parallels worth noting. Public debt is at historic highs, cash usage is declining, and some nations are exploring state-controlled digital currencies and biometric IDs. While outright confiscation of all assets is not happening, history shows that governments can seize wealth under extreme circumstances. The question is not whether it's possible, it's whether you've considered protecting your financial security.
Personally, I think it's time to get some baseball bats inside the house and come out swinging, because ain't nobody taking my shit off of me, I can tell you that right now.
A woman began hearing strange noises coming from a well near her home. At first, she ignored it, but the sounds kept returning, especially late at night. Something about it felt wrong. She told her mother and eventually decided she needed to see for herself. One night, she walked up to the well, turned on a flashlight, and aimed her camera down inside. She called out, thinking maybe an animal had fallen in, or even a person who needed help. Instead of an answer, a low growl came back from deep below. As the camera adjusted to the darkness, something slowly came into view. Inside the well stood a black, human-shaped figure. Its eyes glowed brightly as they reflected the light. The figure appeared upright, not like something that had fallen. Some viewers even noticed shapes on its head that looked like horns, though it's difficult to say for certain. The moment she realized what she was seeing, she did not stay to investigate. She turned and left immediately, and that's where the footage ends. In many legends, wells are seen as gateways, places where things are sealed away or where something from below can reach upward. Some believe entities are drawn to them because of their depth and isolation. Others argue it could have been a person covered in mud or an animal positioned in a strange way. Still, the posture, the glowing eyes, and the sound that came from the darkness left many people uneasy. Was this something natural or something that was never meant to be down there at all?
¿Escucharon eso? ¿Qué se oye allá abajo? ¿Hola? ¿Qué se oye allá abajo? ¿Hola?
Watch this. Not sure if you caught everything, but allow me to be Captain Obvious. This clip was captured by a young lady at home alone. Now, prior to this incident, she and her family had been hearing their names in different parts of the house. It was creepy, but they tried to tell themselves they were imagining things until the day this clip was recorded. Again, Bella was home when she started hearing what sounded like her mom's voice calling her. There was one issue, though. Two. First, her mom was nowhere close to the house, so it couldn't be her mom calling out to the door. Secondly, her mom doesn't use that tone whenever she speaks to her. These two factors made her suspicious and prevented her from going to the door. After a while, whatever was trying to lure her to the door got tired and said in a different tone, "We need you, Bella." Not sure about you, but that's some next-level demonic stuff. Scared and worried, Bella calls her neighbors to come around because the police just wouldn't believe her. The voice is gone by the time they arrive, but she recorded the whole thing to serve as evidence. What do you make of this? Should Bella and her family stay in that house, or should they already have started house hunting? Okay, poor choice of words, but you get the idea.
Open the door for mommy. Bella. Come out. Bella, are you there, honey? Bella.
A scientist from China named He Jiankui shocked the scientific world with what he did. In secret, he edited human embryos using gene editing technology with the goal of making the children immune to HIV. The experiment led to the birth of twin girls and later a third child. What makes this so controversial was not just the outcome, but the way it was carried out. At the time, this procedure was not approved for use on human embryos because of the serious risks involved. Any changes made at that stage permanently altered DNA and could be passed down to future generations. He Jiankui conducted the experiment behind closed doors. He forged documents and failed to properly inform the parents about the dangers they were agreeing to. When the truth came out, the backlash was immediate. In 2019, he was convicted and sentenced to 3 years in prison. He was released in 2022. Since then, reports say the children are alive and doing well, but they remain under close medical monitoring. Their existence stands as a reminder that some scientific boundaries once crossed can never truly be undone. It's fascinating to see how Americans imagined the future decades ago. People tried to picture life in 2021, and some of their guesses were surprisingly accurate, while others, not so much. Back in 1990, one poll asked Americans what they expected to see by 2021. Another from 1988 asked people what seemed unlikely by 2022. The results are striking. For example, 57% predicted a deadly new disease, something that hit closer to home than anyone probably expected. Some also got it right with the prediction that the US would elect its first black president. And here's a fun one. About half of the respondents guessed that online shopping, the Amazon-style kind, would replace trips to the store. That prediction was spot on. Of course, not everything came true. People imagined that by 2022 we'd have cures for AIDS and cancer, a female president, and that living to 100 would be common. Clearly, those visions are still waiting. Looking back at these predictions is like opening a time capsule. It shows both how imaginative people were and how reality can still surprise us. Which of these predictions shocks you the most? And which ones do you secretly wish had come true? For me, that's the cure for cancer and AIDS. Also, what are your predictions for the new year? I'd love to hear them. Most people never saw this coming. The reported death of a former Big Pharma insider who later became one of its most vocal critics raised many questions, and depending on who you asked, the timing felt unsettling. Brandy Vaughn was a former pharmaceutical sales representative who later became a vaccine safety advocate and founded the organization Learn the Risk. After leaving the industry, she publicly criticized pharmaceutical practices, claiming there were risks she believed were not being openly discussed. In December 2020, Vaughn was found dead in her home at the age of 44. Authorities reportedly ruled the death as natural, with a blood clot listed as the cause. No evidence of wrongdoing was officially reported. What caught the attention of many people, however, were older videos in which Vaughn claimed she feared for her safety. In those clips, she reportedly stated that if anything ever happened to her, it would not be assumed to be accidental. After her death, those videos were surfaced and spread quickly online. As a result, speculation followed. Some believe she may have been silenced for speaking out. Others suggest a background inside the pharmaceutical industry made her a controversial figure. And many argue this was a tragic medical event that later became surrounded by coincidence and online theory. There's no confirmed proof of foul play. Still, the circumstances continue to be discussed across alternative media and conspiracy-focused communities. Allegedly, stories like this are rarely as simple as they seem.
Buddha was on the floor. Normally, the Buddha is pretty heavy. It was on here. The pictures were also knocked over. So then 2 days later, I noticed it first through the kitchen window. There is a duck. I don't understand the duck. And then it came to me that I had been on my phone having a lot of conversations about people asking me, are you staying at your house? What are you going to do? And I used the term repeatedly, well, I'm not staying at my house. I feel like a sitting duck because they can get in at any time. And, I'm a sitting duck. And so that was actually quite disturbing to come home to. Now I have a duck. So after all of these intimidation tactics, it's very hard to feel safe and secure, but I am not gonna go away. I'm not gonna be silenced because these are important issues and we need to expose what's really going on behind the mandatory vaccination bills. It has nothing to do with public health. It has everything to do with profit.
Next, we have a clip from this woman who is just kicking it in her apartment one night, probably getting ready for bed or whatever, when she happens to glance out of her window up at the mountains.
No estoy buscando seguidores. Como pueden ver en todas mis fotos y videos.
That's when she sees this totally trippy display. These glowing blue lines, almost like tentacles, slithering and undulating across the sky. She whips out her phone to record the whole mind-bending scene through the glass. It's both eerily beautiful and downright bizarre. You still have to wonder, though, what could be responsible for causing something like that? Are we talking about legit paranormal activity here? Maybe some ethereal spirits just glazing across the night sky, leaving these glowing trails in their wake? Or is there more to it? Gives me chills just thinking about it. Julius and his skeptic kind, however, think it might be some weird trick of the light, like reflections bouncing off her window from inside her place. Very boring explanation, but possible, I suppose. Does it feel unexplainable? No, maybe. Is it insanely cool? 100%. Anyway, you guys have seen it now. What do you also think about it? Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, could you do so right now? You wouldn't want me to send a Bigfoot after you now, would you? In this mystifying video, a diligent worker is carefully placing boxes on a shelf when, without warning, the boxes decide to defy gravity and tumble off the shelves on their own. This is bizarre and, quite frankly, a bit upsetting, yet this is just the beginning of a series of strange events. As the worker tries to make sense of the situation, something else happens. An unseen force pushes down some more boxes and takes control of his body and then drags him around as though he were a piece of paper. He told his managers, who didn't believe him until the CCTV footage was reviewed and this was seen. What do you think could be happening here? Are we dealing with a supernatural presence, a glitch in the fabric of reality, or perhaps a manifestation of undiscovered energies within the walls of the warehouse? Share your thoughts. Have you ever snapped a photo and then, when you looked at it later, noticed something in the background that completely escaped your attention at the time? Well, for this man, it took 40 years. After close to 40 years, he went through old photos he'd taken with his dad and siblings, then noticed something, or should I say, something he never noticed the day they took the pictures. There was an old lady in the background watching them. The reason why this is weird, according to him, is the fact that there was nobody there with them the day they took the pictures, yet somehow this woman shows up in the clip at the range they would have surely noticed her, and which has left them scratching their heads. Once the clip went up, people started coming up with theories ranging from it being a ghost to it being a skinwalker. What's strange is the fact that the channel responsible for posting the clip was suddenly deleted and the man never heard from again. Strange, huh? What in the world is going on here? A passerby was walking down a street filled with pigeons when something truly bizarre caught their eye. An iPad was lying on the ground and one pigeon seemed entirely fixated on it. But this wasn't just any ordinary scene. There was a strange black and white spiral pattern spinning on the iPad screen, almost like one of those hypnotic illusions. What's really eerie is that when the pigeon was completely mesmerized, standing still and staring at the screen without moving an inch. It's as if the pigeon was caught in a trance, unable to break free from whatever was happening on that screen. The sight of a bird so utterly captivated by a digital device is unsettling, almost as if the technology had taken control of its mind. Is this just a weird coincidence, or is something more sinister at play? On a bright, sunlit day, an unsuspecting woman found herself being confronted by an eerie and mysterious sight. There on the wall of that building is the unmistakable silhouette of a person's shadow. Do you see it? That's definitely not your ordinary shadow. No, this one stands out, and there's no one around to cast it. We double-checked to see if it was painted, and no, it's not a painted mural or a trick of the light either. It's a genuine shadow that seems to have a life of its own. How is this plausible? Well, it's not. We believe there's got to be something supernatural going on here. Aaron thinks we may be dealing with a shadow person. For those unfamiliar with the term, a shadow person is a term used in folklore to refer to a dark, shadowy figure that looks like a person, just like we're seeing in the footage. There's, however, not been evidence of their existence until this clip. What do you think? Genuine or fabricated? In the expansive sky where the horizon meets the unknown, TikToker at Daniel Velez Wagner, a skilled glider pilot, recently experienced an extraordinary moment. While flying solo through the clouds, he captured a breathtaking scene that has amazed viewers. And if you guessed UFO, you are right. Wait, I put that in the title of the clip, so you have already seen it. Anyway, do you believe that's a UFO zooming past his glider at incredible speed? Everyone who's seen the clip thinks so, but some are not so convinced. They think the object just doesn't blend too well with the environment, meaning it has to be edited footage. Take a second look and tell me what you think, edited or the real deal. Share your thoughts in the comments section. This footage comes straight from the ISS, and it's truly baffling. Over the Earth, a cylindrical object was seen moving toward the camera. As it drew nearer, something truly astonishing occurred. The object seemed to vanish completely. One moment it was there, and the next it had simply disappeared into thin air. Just look at that. It's like it simply disappeared. Many believe this could be some sort of UFO, a craft that defies the laws of physics as we know them. Could this be evidence of extraterrestrial technology, or is there some other explanation? If anyone told me I was going to be seeing a creature that was half human and half cow when this clip started, I would have laughed, but here it is. I know what you're thinking. How is this possible? Well, I'm thinking the same, and the only culprit that comes to my mind right now is AI. I'm tempted to believe this was created by someone using one of the image generation tools. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. What about you? Hold on to your hiking boots because there's a mountain mystery unfolding at the Lone Peak Mountains. A resident sees a figure casually walking up the mountain, moving with eerie ease. Now here's the twist. It looks almost human, but with the size and build that's definitely not human. A quick zoom and it's clear this isn't your typical mountain hiker. Given the area is notorious for Bigfoot sightings, the individual concluded that we may just be dealing with the elusive cryptid. He couldn't follow or get any closer, so we'll have to make do with this clip. What do you think, though? Could it really be a Bigfoot, or is he just seeing what he wants to see? A group of kids, curious and courageous, rush into a farmland drawn by mysterious noises echoing from within. Just as they approach, the source of the commotion takes off at warp speed straight into the clouds. And what do they discover? A flattened maize field and a UFO zipping across the sky. UFO sights have become so common these days, it feels like any moment from now we'll see aliens knocking at our front doors to ask for a glass of water. As much as I love alien clips and want to believe this is real and authentic, it just feels very unreal. It looks like one of those amateur student films, which makes me believe someone created this looking for their 5 minutes of fame. Given we featured this clip on the channel, it's safe to say they've achieved their aim. This footage was recorded somewhere in the Czech Republic. The man who captured it said that the sounds were unlike anything he'd ever heard from the known creatures that roam the area. He mentioned encountering a creature that resembled a skinwalker-type cryptid. He believes it might be what Europeans call a hezkal. According to local folklore, a hezkal is some type of cryptid demon that runs through the forest and hills. Now, we haven't had a lot of clips on this creature, but perhaps in our next episode we might do a deep dive. This creature seems to share the same vocal characteristics as a skinwalker. The man states that they were more like screams that were almost human, but with a distinctive howl to them. Listening to them, what do you think you're hearing? Now, we all know about the endless debates on whether we have made contact with extraterrestrial beings or not. Well, there's a man by the name of Dr. Gary Nolan, a Stanford professor, who shared a rather strange situation he found himself in during an interview with Tucker Carlson.
And all of a sudden, one day, the CIA shows up at your office?
At first, I thought it was a joke. I really thought that somebody was about to put me on candid camera and make a joke of it. But as they started showing me the data, and they were deadly serious, I tried to lure them into making a joke about it. They were deadly serious about it because they had basically said at that point, people have died.
Dr. Nolan revealed that CIA agents approached him to help analyze individuals who had allegedly made contact with UFOs. According to him, the agents showed him images of people who had died or were bedridden following their encounters. Some had parts of their brains internally fried and suffered from radiation burns on their skin. Dr. Nolan met these people and asked them a few questions. Many reported seeing glowing objects or unknown crafts. They all experienced adverse effects because they got too close to these objects. Interestingly, all these individuals were military personnel on duty. Does this mean that the military has had contact with UFOs but can't get close due to the dangers involved? This incident occurred back in 2011. I wonder what progress or future contact has been made over the past decade. What do you think? Could the military be continuing its efforts to understand these mysterious encounters, or is there more to the story than meets the eye? Share your thoughts.
What was the story there?
That was the so-called Rendlesham Forest case in England, where objects were seen over the bunkers where the nuclear weapons were stored.
Nature has a way of surprising us, turning the everyday into something extraordinary. Someone found this insect on a wall. From afar, it might look like your everyday large, winged and flying insect, but a closer look at it and you'll realize something's off about this insect. It looks like it's got a man's face. If you're familiar with the Conjuring universe, you know that this looks like Valak, but it's just a moth, so how? Is this a case of pareidolia because I was watching the Conjuring universe recently, or is there some merit to my claim? Guys, what do you think? This guy is out taking a casual stroll through the woods, nothing out of the ordinary, but then he gets this distinct feeling like something's off, that creepy sense of being watched and not being alone.
Get back.
On instinct, he turns around to see what's going on. That's when he spots it. This bizarre black sphere just hovering in the air, traveling right behind him like some kind of sinister follower. It's giving me evil red balloon from It vibes, you know. Part intrigued but mostly freaked out, the guy quickly whips out his phone to record this weird phenomena. The sphere seems to have a mind of its own, drifting in this really unsettling, unnatural way. The whole atmosphere is tense and ominous. Without warning, the black sphere suddenly charges straight at the man, moving through the air at an inhuman speed, accompanied by this bizarre roaring sound. You can hear the guy's terrified yell just before the footage abruptly cuts out, leaving you to wonder what the hell just happened. What do you think this mysterious black sphere could be? More importantly, how would you react if you came face to sphere with something that's sinister and bizarre looking on a casual wood stroll? Julius thinks it might be CGI generated because the leaves don't move when it touches them, but, well, what do you think? Have you ever seen someone sleepwalk before? If you haven't, have you ever wondered what they look like when they do? Well, today's your lucky day. Enjoy. Yes, he's actually sleepwalking, and no, he's not awake. He's not really aware of his surroundings because he's in a sleep state. Sleepwalking, or somnambulism, is a sleep disorder characterized by engaging in complex behaviors while in a deep sleep state, typically during the non-rapid eye movement stages, particularly third stage known as slow-wave sleep. During a sleepwalking episode, individuals can perform activities ranging from sitting up in bed to walking around and, in more extreme cases, driving or engaging in other complex tasks. Yes, they could drive in this state. When Julius pointed this out to me, I was skeptical and did the research, and it's actually true. Sleepwalkers often have their eyes open with a glared, unfocused expression, but they're typically not aware of their actions and usually don't remember the episode upon waking. This condition is more common in children and tends to decrease in frequency with age, although it can persist into adulthood for some. We still don't know what the cause is, but it's believed to be linked to a combination of genetic, environmental, and physiological factors. Stress, sleep deprivation, certain medications, and disruptions in the regular sleep schedule can trigger or exacerbate episodes. If you know a sleepwalker, be kind to them and say a prayer for them. I can't imagine how stressful the whole thing can be for them, despite this particular one looking funny. Are there any sleepwalkers here? Care to share some of your wildest experiences? Next, we've got your long-awaited bonus segment. Take a look. If you're confused and wondering what that is, believe me when I say you're not the only one. I know this person's joking, but come on, invisibility potions? Before you conclude this isn't real and that I'm pulling your legs, know that I'm not. These are actual and real bugs. Your job today is to find out what they are and tell us in the comments section with one fact about them. I trust you guys, so all the best. In the eerie depths of an abandoned building, a daring explorer stumbled upon a rather unusual scene.
Bueno, quédense tranquilos.
In the backyard of this building were 5 wooden chairs meticulously arranged in a circle, facing each other. While this may look ordinary to some, something strange occurs in the middle of that circle of chairs. Dried leaves, seemingly guided by an unseen force, twirled in a haunting dance, forming a perfect circle. The unnatural choreography of these leaves raises a chilling question. Was the arrangement of these chairs a purposeful attempt to create a vortex, a mysterious portal, or a focal point for paranormal energy? The concept of a vortex, thought by some to be a swirling gateway between dimensions, could explain the eerie movement of the leaves at the center. Such occurrences are often linked to supernatural events and paranormal activity. Do you think there's something paranormal really happening here, or are we simply overthinking and blowing things out of proportion? Share your thoughts. If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode.
Oh my god.
A guy captures not one, but two moons in the sky, with one trailing behind the other. We're not talking about atmospheric illusions or misty reflections. These are actual moons sharing the celestial space. But how? The truth is, no one knows for certain. Can you help? Julius wants to sit out of this one and wants to see what you guys can come up with. Share your thoughts in the comments section. This next one is highly controversial and has sparked endless debates online. The footage is of US President Joe Biden speaking during an event. As he raises his hands, something strange appears under the sleeve of his coat and then quickly vanishes. Take a closer look at it. Now, there's a lot of opinions all over the place on this one. Some people insist it looks like a snake or lizard, sparkling wild theories about reptilian beings. Others have suggested it could be a rosary or some religious artifact slipping out of view. Some dismiss it entirely, claiming the footage is fake or manipulated. On the other hand, some think it's just a simple bracelet or watch, maybe even the edge of a microphone wire strangely catching the light. What do you think it could be? Speaking of alien ships, this next capture is one that's allegedly from Mars. If you pay attention to the image, you'll see that there's a humanoid creature standing and staring in the direction of the camera. If you did basic science at school, then you know that the red planet has been officially stated to be without life. Once in a while, however, images like this pop up speculating that the red planet does indeed have life on it and our governments are keeping it under wraps. The situation isn't too surprising because Mars, our captivating neighbor, has always been a source of wonder and speculation. Known as the Red Planet because of its striking reddish hue, Mars intrigues both scientists and dreamers alike. This mysterious world has its fair share of secrets, with some aspects that continue to puzzle researchers. Take water on Mars, for example. Though today's Mars is a cold, dry desert, evidence suggests that it wasn't always this way. Ancient river valleys and lake beds hint at a time when water flowed freely across the surface. This discovery is huge because it opens up the possibility that Mars might have once been warm and wet enough to support life. And then there are Mars' two moons, Phobos and Deimos, which are anything but ordinary. With their odd shapes and the fact that Phobos is slowly spiraling toward the planet, there's a lot to wonder about their origins. Mars' thin atmosphere, mostly made of carbon dioxide, adds another layer of intrigue. It's too thin to support liquid water for long, but thick enough to stir up massive dust storms. Finally, the hunt for life on Mars has been relentless. From the Viking missions in the 70s to the latest rovers, we found clues like organic molecules. But the definitive proof of life remains elusive. So yeah, I did digress, but what do you guys think? Does the planet indeed have aliens on it, or are we just seeing things that aren't there? Share your thoughts in the comments section. This next one is a capture from a paranormal group I was gifted the opportunity to be a part of. I don't need to tell you what this creature is, do I? It was captured on a trail cam of one of the participants of the group. According to him, he's encountered this being before and has barely escaped with his life. He was out exploring the woods when it got dark. In his bid to get home, he took a shortcut, and that's where his woes began. He felt the creature stalk and follow him. He couldn't tell, but it had dog fur and a menacing growl. He tried running away and eventually stumbled. That's when the creature revealed itself in its full glory. Once he saw its sharp teeth, he knew he was a goner until a party of hunters came his way with its sharp teeth. The only reason he escaped with his life was because there was a party of hunters heading his way. The creature heard them and retreated, yet no one would believe his story. This is why he fixed the trail cams. It took a year and some months, but he finally had his proof and wanted the world to see it. At least that's what he said. Some people believe his story, while some think it's just AI imagery with a lot of lies. You have seen the capture yourself now. What do you make of it? This mysterious clip has had the whole paranormal community talking. I mean, it's not often you see a creature like this moving across a river in the heart of the woods. What creature is it? Well, if you have been on this page long enough, then you definitely know I'm going to call that out to be a Bigfoot. I mean, the bipedal form and the fur are dead giveaways. The question is, where was this taken, and was it alone? So someone sent this in stating that the helicopter you're seeing in the clip is actually releasing genetically modified mosquitoes into the neighborhood. Now, if I'm to guess where the alleged location for this is, I would say Florida, since that's a recent location where genetically modified mosquitoes are being released. Does that mean the video is legit then? Well, after a lot of research and scrutiny at our end, we don't think so. While it's true that mosquitoes are being released in Florida for a disease control program, the mosquitoes are typically packed in special containers that can be released in a controlled manner, and not helicopters like seen in the video. Some have also suggested Bill Gates is behind the initiative for his selfish reasons, but data from our research shows that Bill Gates isn't funding this project locally. Julius thinks that what we are seeing from the chopper is actually smoke that might be related to a gender reveal celebration. I'm tempted to agree with Julius on this one, but what if that's exactly what they want us to think? It's hard to trust anyone and anything these days, including your very own thoughts. This next footage appears to be one of the closest encounters with a UFO ever captured. It was taken by a passenger aboard a plane on their way to Colombia, and the sighting itself occurred in Colombia airspace. The passenger was simply recording the beautiful, expansive clouds outside the window when out of nowhere, a diamond-shaped UFO came into view, gliding through the sky. The craft's distinct shape and the way it moved left the man stunned. This sighting is remarkable not just for the proximity of the craft, but also because it occurred in broad daylight. A homeowner sets up some security cameras around her house, just for peace of mind, pretty standard stuff. But then she's reviewing the footage and catches something seriously bizarre. There's this thing sprinting across a driveway by her car. It's only about 3 feet tall, but has these freaky skinny legs, and its head is totally out of proportion, like a big bulbous thing on a little body. The midsection was harder to make out, just looked kind of dark and shadowy. She slows down the footage to get a better look, and that's when it gets even weirder. This creature, whatever it is, has a body structure that's almost bird-like. Thin legs, seemingly lightweight frame, but the way it's moving is unmistakably human-like. confident, purposeful strides. It's like, oh, beats me, I'm some sort of human-bird hybrid. Such things aren't supposed to exist, are there? So what could we be looking at then? A real-life genetic experiment gone haywire? Some bizarre undiscovered species that blends human and bird traits? It's hard to say at this point, but what are your thoughts on this? Next, we get a glimpse of the future right in someone's backyard. This man has crafted a shield that's definitely worthy of the name camouflage. You notice that the shield makes him invisible as soon as he stands behind it. This is the kind of stuff you see in movies and games, but this man has really built it. Yeah, he's actually done it. A shield more practical than Captain America's. Imagine the possibilities, the untapped potential of technology. It could change the law enforcement and military game for good, but if the man could create this, what could those big shot tech companies be cooking up behind their closed doors? Sometimes I just don't get what the thrill of making life-threatening decisions is all about. Take a look at this footage taken by a man biking on a trail in the middle of the forest all alone. As he rode through the woods with a camera on his head and just the light from his bicycle to guide him, he captured something truly eerie. He didn't notice it at the time, but when he got home and reviewed the footage, he saw it. On the side of the path among the trees was a tall, pale figure dressed in what looked like dark clothes. Only its pale head, neck, and hands were visible, and the creature was extremely tall. It seems this man had unknowingly captured an entity out there in the woods. Given the height and chilling appearance, could this be the infamous Slender Man? As long as there is light, there will always be illusions. Have you heard of Fata Morgana? It's a fascinating optical phenomenon where people perceive things in the sky, such as buildings, objects, and structures that aren't really there. Someone recently shared some intriguing footage they took of the sky. The video seems to show some sort of structure floating up in the air. While this could undoubtedly be a Fata Morgana, some people believe there's more to it. Given all the recent discussions about UFOs, some speculate that these structures could be cloaked objects rather than mere illusions. Fata Morgana occurs due to temperature inversions, where layers of warm and cold air bend light rays, creating a mirage. This phenomenon can make distant objects appear much closer and distorted, often giving the impression of a surreal and otherworldly sight. However, with increasing interest in UFO sightings and the possibility of advanced technologies, some people are open to the idea that this might not just be an optical illusion. Could these be advanced, cloaked structures hiding in plain sight? What do you think? Are these mysterious sky structures just tricks of light, or could they be something more? Under the tranquil veil of night, another TikToker stumbled upon a sight that was both enchanting and enigmatic.
Oh my dude, I wish I had a better camera.
A beam of orange light pierced through the darkness, delicately kissing the earth below. But this was no celestial event or distant star. It was the captivating display of artillery illumination rounds. At least, that's what Julius would have us believe.
On the parts that aren't dark.
Dude, that shit is fucking tripping me out.
These rounds, commonly employed in military operations, serve as a dual purpose, illuminating the night sky to enhance visibility and exposing the surrounding terrain. The orange glow, set against the inky backdrop of the night, created a surreal atmosphere, transforming the ordinary into something otherworldly and mesmerizing. I know this explanation doesn't convince you, but that's what skeptics like Julius are pushing. The believers in the paranormal like Aaron, however, believe we could be looking at a portal to another dimension or a rift of some sort. Instead of stating my stance on the subject, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think?
The phone doesn't even do it justice of what we're seeing.
Oh, there's another one.
Yeah, they're falling out of the sky. Look, that one's just sitting there.
Let's turn our attention to the charming cityscape of Vicenza, Italy, where an extraordinary architectural wonder takes center stage. In this mesmerizing scene, an onlooker gazes out of a window only for us to see a large body of water. It's almost as though the whole area has been submerged in a pool. Not much context was given, so we can't tell if we're dealing with a structure that has always been like this or one that's dealing with heavy floods or rains. Whatever the case, you have to agree that that's some serious bit of architectural engineering. I don't know if there are many homes in the US that could survive something like this. Simply remarkable. A family recently bought a new home by a river. Soon after moving in, they began hearing eerie cries of a woman in the night. Each time they went to investigate, they found no one around. Curious and concerned, they decided to check the security camera located near the source of the noise. What they discovered was chilling. In the dead of night, the camera captured a ghostly figure in a robe walking toward the river. The spectral figure moved silently through the shadows, its form barely visible in the dim light. This haunting sight reminded the family of the legend of La Llorona, the weeping woman known in folklore for her sorrowful cries as she searches for lost children near bodies of water. Could this be the ghost of La Llorona, or perhaps another restless spirit haunting their new home? I guess we'll never know. A woman entered a room in her home and then saw a pair of clawed fingers and an oddly shaped head peeking over the shower curtain. Stunned and most definitely scared, she quickly pulled down the curtain to see what it was, but the creature was long gone. From the short glimpse we had of the creature, we can tell that it was very dark, making it hard to identify. It definitely does not look like something you would see in a biology textbook. It had an eerie, otherworldly quality that has left many people puzzled. So far, our paranormal enthusiasts haven't had much luck with identifying this mysterious creature and explaining how it managed to vanish in a thin air. This has left my team and me wondering if it could be a ghost, a cryptid, or something else entirely. It's hard to say, but you guys also saw the clip, so what do you think? Next, let's dive into the fascinating world of these hard-working insects. Take a look at this dynamic duo of ants, determinedly hauling a tiny SIM card through the maze of cracks in a wall. But what could possibly drive these tiny messengers to undertake such a peculiar mission? Could they be harboring a secret telecommunication network within their covert hideout, relying on a SIM card for connectivity? It's a captivating idea that these ants might be the unseen masterminds of a miniature technological empire. Imagine a bustling ant metropolis where information seamlessly flows through their own version of cyberspace, all facilitated by the humble SIM card clutched in their tiny mandibles. You know, that's actually a scary thought. But why do you think these ants are stealing these SIM cards?
It's a plane flying low over people's homes, scanning the ground with that green laser.
In recent times, a series of peculiar events have left communities puzzled and with more questions than answered. One such mysterious incident unfolded in Cape Coral, Florida, where residents were both bewildered and alarmed by a strange craft hovering across their skies. The most disturbing part of this is the vibrant green laser beam that emanates from the craft, sweeping across the earth below like a scanner. This went on for days until the locals had enough and contacted authorities for answers, but their replies were unclear and they provided little information about the strange flying object's origin or purpose. This has led to various guesses and ideas about what it could be. Some suggest that the flying object could be on a mission to map the landscape, trying to study and learn about the terrain below. On the other hand, different theories propose a mysterious purpose, perhaps one with an origin that lies in the secret service of the government. It's a stretch, but how else do we explain this? Anyway, share your thoughts on what you think this could be.
They told me not only do their planes fly during the day, they also don't use green lasers.
On regarde les étoiles. C'est trop beau. On n'est pas bien là. On n'est pas bien là. Ah. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Oh putain, ça
These two girls were out one night in the middle of the road. They lived in a small town, and since it was pretty late, everyone was indoors, and there were no cars driving by at that time. The girls seemed to have come out to get a smoke, and their hysterical laughter suggests they might have been a bit high at the time. One of them had a camera, and the other was barefoot. They seemed to be having the time of their lives when something unexpected happened. In the dark at the end of the road, as far as they could see, they noticed something. It was a very tall, dark figure standing there staring at them. The figure then began walking toward them when the girls quickly ran away as fast as possible. The sudden shift from laughter to fear adds an unsettling twist to this late-night encounter. What do you think this figure was? Is the clip even legit, or are they simply looking for their 5 minutes of fame? Share your thoughts in the comments section. While you digest the previous clip, take a look at this. The clip starts with someone taking a walk through the woods. The journey abruptly ends when he sees this. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like worms or intestines moving through the mud. It's not a sight you see every day, and that's definitely why the one recording stopped in his tracks. What do you make of it? This is one I would love to hear your voice on. So, this is a clip of a guy just chilling with his friends waiting for their Uber when he sees a goat go by. He then decides to film it to pass the time and thinks nothing of it. When he posted the video, someone pointed out what he missed, a figure lurking by the tree. And we're not talking about the goat. Oh, no. The entity was covered in a dark robe with a weird skeletal-looking face. Everyone who saw the footage was wondering what we were dealing with. Some thought it was just a man in a mask, whilst others thought it was the Grim Reaper. Those who thought it was the Grim Reaper pointed out that the uploader, one of his friends, or all of them may be near death. Creepy, huh? The mystery deepens with our next clip. Take a look at this recent TikTok video showing a strange scene captured by a daughter's boyfriend during his morning commute.
Oops. That's freaking weird, man. Isn't it? Yeah, look, there's someone else taking a picture.
The video reveals a bird hanging in the sky, seemingly frozen in time. What makes it even more peculiar is not just the bird's lack of movement, but also its odd sideways position. While some might think that birds sometimes spread their wings to take a break mid-flight, this is definitely not how they rest mid-flight. The unusual stillness of the bird raises a lot of questions. How could a bird stay suspended in such a peculiar way, going against gravity and the usual dynamics of bird flight? There's no logical answer to this, which brings us to another question. Could it be a glitch in the Matrix? I mean, what else explains a bird getting stuck mid-flight like it's paused in a video game or a movie? Think about it.
I'm ready to drive.
Yeah. What if it just dropped all of a sudden? Wouldn't that be freaky?
Okay, well, let's go before it just drops on us. So weird.
Just in case you didn't think that was mysterious enough, then this next one is for you.
Sorry.
The clip introduces us to a couple of fishermen offloading their catch from their fishing net. If you pay attention, however, you'll realize that the fish they're offloading is no fish at all. It looks like a mix of a human and a fish. Its upper body looks eerily human, while its lower body is fish-like, the kind of body you would attribute to a mermaid. I know what you're thinking. Mermaids, are they even real? Well, we've had a lot of evidence on this channel over the videos to suggest they do. But just like this clip, they haven't been definitive enough. If we have learned anything from the many videos we've made, however, it's that the absence of evidence of the existence of something is not evidence of its non-existence. Speaking of evidence, do you think this would count as one for the existence of merfolks? Let us know in the comments section.
Sorry.
So good. And look, all his tentacles are fully attached. Once you put that in the water, wow. I'm gonna do a nice video on that one. Holy.
A man came across this peculiar round-shaped object on the beach. Curious about what it was, he picked it up and later placed it in the water, and that's when the real surprise unfolded. As soon as the object touched the water, tiny tentacles began to unfurl and spread apart, revealing a fascinating structure. What you're looking at here is a sea organism known as Porpita, commonly known as the blue button. Despite its name, the blue button isn't actually a jellyfish, though it shares some similarities. It's more closely related to the Portuguese man-o-war. But unlike its more dangerous relative, the blue button is mostly harmless to humans. Its vibrant blue color and delicate disc-shaped body make it a striking sight, both in and out of the water. The tentacles are used by the organism to catch tiny prey like plankton as it floats on the surface of the ocean.
Once you put that in the water, wow. I'm gonna do a nice video on that one.
Next, let's dive into this spine-chilling clip. This dog owner was enjoying some time with his canine pal until the dog started acting like this. It was growling whilst focusing intently on one corner of the room. As the dog trembled with unease, the owner, unable to perceive the supposed threat, grappled with the unsettling reality that their canine companion could have sensed something beyond our physical plane. He thinks the dog may have sensed a ghost, which, when you think about it, isn't too impossible. Animals are known to be quite sensitive to energies and entities beyond human detection, and this situation right here might just have proven that fact, unless you think there's a more logical explanation. Anyway, care to share your thoughts? A Facebook user recently shared a mesmerizing video featuring two intrepid divers exploring the ocean's hidden wonders. It was meant to be an ordinary clip, until it wasn't. In the background, two massive creatures with an uncanny resemblance to extinct dinosaurs glide by. Naturally, all who saw this were confused and didn't know what to make of it. I showed the clip to Julius, and well, he thinks given their long necks and all, they might be plesiosaurs. Now, this isn't my forte, but plesiosaurs were a type of marine reptile that existed approximately 252 to 66 million years ago and are mostly sometimes referred to as the Loch Ness Monster. Although they lived alongside dinosaurs, plesiosaurs were not exactly dinosaurs, and they had a distinct ecological role in marine environments. Along with various other marine reptiles, plesiosaurs became extinct around 66 million years ago. So it's quite a shock to spot a creature that looks so much like one. So could these really be plesiosaurs, or are we actually mistaking the Loch Ness Monster for one? Have you ever had that magical moment that just seems so out of this world that you probably never forget? Well, take a look at this. A paddleboarder was out on the serene waters of Argentine Patagonia with a drone above filming everything below, when out of nowhere, a southern right whale swam over to a paddleboard. Just look at that massive whale gently swimming closer to the board. It used its fin to gently nudge the board as if to say, well, hello there. The sheer size and grace of the whale juxtaposed against the paddleboarder's tiny presence create a truly awe-inspiring scene. The woman on the board seemed completely entranced by this gentle giant, making it a moment she would never likely forget. What would have been your reaction if you encountered such a magnificent creature up close? Let us know in the comments section. Not everyone believes in ghosts, but there are clips that shake even the staunchest skeptics, and our next capture is one of those. Some daycare workers at a school stationed in the basement said the children would always complain about seeing a scary man in the classroom. One day, a teacher decided to leave a camera on in the class after school hours, and guess what they discovered? First, an object moved across the floor by itself, then one of the children's toys began swaying on the ground with no one around. Suddenly, a toy car came rolling by, and a bucket of Legos that had been left in the middle of the table slid off and scattered on the ground. It seems the kids were right. Someone or something was in the classroom. But what kind of entity could it be? No one knows for sure. Members of the paranormal community suggest that it could perhaps be the spirit of an old resident of the basement before it became a school. I know we're trying to solve this mystery, but I have a question. Why turn a basement into a school? You're probably wondering why we're showing you someone's bedroom, right? Well, wait a sec. And there it is. Do you hear those loud banging or knocking sounds? This has apparently been going on for a while, and the woman was the only one who noticed.
Oh, baby, wake up! What the fuck? What the fuck, baby? Wake up, wake up, wake up. Something just open the door.
The man always seemed to be very deep in sleep anytime something like this happened, and the woman found it weird. They installed a camera to know what was really happening, and this is the result. The man still slept through it. What do you think could be happening here, and why does the man always sleep through it? Some think it's demonic, while others think they're just faking it. What do you think?
Wake up! What the fuck?
In the heart of the Amazon rainforest, a captivating and mystifying scene unfolded as someone managed to capture a mesmerizing sight from a distance. Among the thick cluster of trees, a red orb appeared, rising gracefully as if emerging from the heart of the lush vegetation. This glowing spectacle resembled a fiery flame. But what could it be? There are indigenous beliefs and folklore that often speak of nature spirits and guardians dwelling in the depths of the jungle. Could this be one of them? Aaron seems to think so. Julius, being the more practical one, offers a different interpretation. He suggests that what we are seeing could be a flare from someone in a distressing situation, or perhaps the light of a drone at work. You've seen the clip. What do you also think? This was taken by someone who went fishing. They were on one side of the river when they spotted something walking among the trees on the opposite bank. As you can see, it checks all the boxes for a Bigfoot, the tall, hairy figure with broad shoulders and the distinct gait. The image certainly stirs the imagination and adds to the ongoing mystery and debate about the existence of Bigfoot. Could this be the evidence enthusiasts have been waiting for, or is it another case of mistaken identity or clever trickery? Usually when you think of worms, you imagine slimy, disgusting creatures crawling about in the earth. However, not all worms are unappealing. Some are actually edible and even considered a delicacy. One such worm is the shipworm. These silky worms live in sunken wood, using the hard shells to bore holes into it. They thrive in water and cannot survive otherwise. People often go to the waterside to harvest them from the wood. Despite their harmless appearance, shipworms pose a significant problem for many ships and boats. They burrow into the wood, causing extensive damage and often necessitating the use of metal reinforcements to protect against these destructive beasts. Given that these creatures are now being farmed and are increasingly considered viable food sources globally, would you be willing to give them a try? And for those of you who have already ventured into tasting them, could you share your experience? We're really curious to know what they taste like. A woman lit a candle and placed it near a hanging ball of clothes, and what happened next was truly eerie. A face appeared on the fabric. You can make out the shape of eyes, nose, mouth, and even what looks like hair. The face seems to have its eyes closed, almost as if it's resting. There's no context given in the footage, so it's unclear where the clothes came from or if there's any background to this strange occurrence. But what do you think? Could this be just a coincidence, a trick of light and shadows, or is there something more mysterious at play here? A man stumbled upon a random egg lying on the ground in tiny stones and sand. As he reached out to pick it up, he noticed something eerie. There was an eye staring back at him from beside the egg. The eye belonged to a massive creature hidden beneath the sand, watching his every move. The man froze, realizing that whatever this creature was, it was far from ordinary. Now everyone is baffled. Some believe it could be a crocodile, while others think it might be just some kind of bird. But with only the eye visible, it's hard to tell what kind of animal this is. What do you think? Could this mysterious creature be guarding its egg, or is it something entirely different? The simulation theory has certainly sparked a lot of intriguing discussion, and every time a new piece of footage emerges, it reignites the debate in a fresh and fascinating way. This particular footage, taken during an ad break, is no exception. In the video, Montez Ford, a well-known wrestler, suddenly freezes in front of the camera. It's not just a brief moment of stillness, it's an eerie, prolonged pause that leaves everyone around him visibly confused. The people on set try to get him to move, waving their hands in front of his face, calling his name, and even a woman approaches to touch him. But nothing seems to snap him out of it. He remains perfectly still, like a statue, completely unresponsive. This bizarre incident has led to a wave of speculation online. Some people are saying that Ford isn't real, suggesting that he might be some kind of hologram or digital creation, a project of a glitch in the Matrix. Others believe that this is a genuine glitch in the simulation, where the reality we perceive had a momentary error and Ford's freezing was the result of that. On the other hand, skeptics argue that this could have been a deliberate act. Maybe Ford was playing a prank or performing some kind of performance art. Others suggest that it could be a medical issue or a hoax staged to get people talking. What do you think?
Aqui, ó. Misericórdia. Olha isso. Olha essa imagem, meus amigos.
This video, shared by a curious adventurer exploring the woods, captures an extraordinary and bizarre find. In a small, muddy water hole in the middle of the forest, he discovered an odd-looking skull partially submerged in the murky water. The skull had green, crystal-like eyes that seemed to glow with white pearls surrounding them. The rest of the skull was caked in mud, giving it an eerie, ancient appearance. When he lifted it out of the water, it was heavy, filled with the dirty water from the home. What could this strange skull be? A relic from an ancient civilization, a piece of elaborate artwork, or something more mysterious? My money's on something more mysterious, but let me know what you think.
Então, pessoal, coloquei pra cá. Olha que sinistro isso aqui. E vai ter coisa aqui dentro. Isso aqui tá... Ó, tô falando? Olha isso aqui, já caiu aqui, ó.
While walking through the woods, a man reported hearing strange noises coming from nearby. Curious, he decided to follow the sounds, leading him to a large tree. As he got closer, he realized the noises were coming from behind the tree. When he cautiously walked around it, he was suddenly confronted by something unexpected. Out from the shadows emerged a tall creature with a reptilian face and a brownish body. The sight startled the man, causing him to panic and run off. Now, looking at the video, the creature appears so odd and out of place that it feels hard to believe it's real. The way it moves and looks almost seems staged, leading many, including myself, to think this could very well be a hoax. But what do you think? A man was trekking through the Cambodian jungle when he stumbled upon a peculiar plant. At first glance, it seemed to be an ordinary flower. It had long, delicate white petals that appeared almost paper thin. Intrigued by its unusual appearance, he brought his palm closer to get a better look. But then something unexpected happened. The white petals suddenly flew off the plant into the air. What just happened? Was it some kind of insect disguised as a flower, or were their strange white shapes actually a part of the plant? Has anyone seen anything like this before? While you think about that, let's take a look at this one. We're not exactly sure where this was taken, but whoever is recording the clip appears to be before an opening to a very large facility. While the opening in itself appears to be interesting, it's not the star of the clip. If you carefully pay attention, you'll realize that there's a large, furry, humanoid creature moving in the entrance. The person recorded sees it, freaks out, and then the clip ends abruptly. I want to believe the person runs away, but it's not mentioned in the post or description. Instead, the individual is asking for help in identifying whatever that is. Some in my team have suggested it's the big guy, you know, Bigfoot. Now you've seen the clip, so what do you think? This footage is truly something that leaves you in awe. Imagine enjoying a peaceful day at the beach with your family, soaking in the sun and the sound of the waves when suddenly the unimaginable happens. This family in Peru was doing just that, having a fun and relaxing day above the shore, when out of nowhere they noticed something hovering above a nearby mountain. It wasn't just an ordinary sight. Floating above the mountain was a disc-shaped UFO, clear as day against the sky. The sight was so unexpected and surreal that the family didn't even take a moment to process what they were seeing. They immediately ran away. While some might speculate about what this object could be, whether a secret military craft, a weather balloon, or an actual extraterrestrial visitor, the family's reaction speaks volumes. These kinds of sightings continue to fuel the ongoing debate about the existence of UFOs and what they might mean for us. Are they visitors from another world, advanced technology we don't know about, or something else entirely? Remember that recent video of a woman attending to what seemed like a ghost customer? Well, we've got another case that's just as eerie. This time it took place at a motor dealership and was captured by the security cameras. In the footage, you can see the glass door swing open and a woman walks over it talking to someone, but there's no one there. She continues interacting as if a customer was standing right in front of her. Moments later, her colleagues rush out from inside the shop and run to her aid. Just as they touch her, she collapses to the ground, completely unconscious. Now, what could be going on here? Is it some kind of invisible force attacking people, or are ghosts just getting bolder, messing with us? Someone shared this really bizarre footage and it's left everyone scratching their heads. In the video, there's a man crouched on the floor and beside him is a fridge with its doors wide open. Everything seems normal until the moment he stands up, accidentally hitting the fridge door with his back. Then all hell breaks loose. The man suddenly goes wild, completely losing it. He starts aggressively ripping the fridge doors off, causing total chaos. What's happening here? Is this some kind of prank, a strange outburst of rage, or is it something else at play that we're not seeing? Some think there's something supernatural going on, perhaps involving a ghost playing pranks on him to his breaking point or getting him possessed. There's not much to go on with using this clip, but I would love to hear your thoughts. When you go for an open house tour, the last thing you expect is to enter the house of a murderer. But that is what a Reddit user believes happened.
Wow, that is
I noticed that too.
I don't know what this is, but there's a big bag in there.
He had gone to an open house tour in California. As they were exploring the house, he noticed a strange-looking compartment in the ground resembling a trapdoor. Curiosity piqued, he went closer to take a better look. Inside, he saw a huge bin bag submerged in brownish water. The sight was unsettling and seemed out of place in the otherwise normal-looking house. The situation took a darker turn when the woman in charge of the tour saw them snooping around. She quickly and sternly kicked them out of the house. This abrupt reaction raised even more suspicion. Why would she react so strongly if there was nothing to hide? It's hard to ignore the chilling implications. Could there have been something sinister in that bag? Was there a body inside? Given that this was posted on Reddit, I guess we will never know.
There's a big bag in there with water.
We have evidence of an evolution that the government doesn't want you to know about. Take a look.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, you're seeing right. That's a corgi riding a pony. They're both miniature versions of their species, yet somehow the corgi is evolving into a cowboy, or should I say a cow dog. If World War III is being discussed on the news as well as the threat of a new deadly bird flu pandemic, then why isn't anyone talking about this potentially world-ending evolution? Unless, of course, the government and the media are in bed together. The world is ending. But seriously, I'm joking, and don't repeat this anywhere.
Oh my gosh!
If I had a penny for every time someone told me Bigfoot was not real, I would be a billionaire by now. But clips like this are always around to try and prove the big guy exists. This clip was uploaded online by Manuel in Oklahoma. According to him, he woke up one day to go about his normal duties when he saw a large creature in the distance. Intrigued and curious, he drew closer with his camera, rolling, and this is what he captured. Now, when this was uploaded, many were excited, stating that this had to be undeniable proof of Bigfoot's existence. I was also excited about the clip, especially because it's not so blurry. Once it started to play, it was very convincing, until I saw its lips, and then the excitement disappeared. Am I the only one who thinks those lips make the thing look like a costume with a bad face mask, or am I being too critical of the details? Have you ever heard of an eternal flame? And no, I'm not talking about some sci-fi plot here. I'm talking about real-life eternal flames. Fires that somehow have never gone out. There are only 9 eternal flames in the world, and this is one of them, located at the Shale Creek Preserve in western New York. It's hidden inside layers of rock with a small flame continuously burning. What's even more fascinating is that it's supposed to be near a waterfall, but right now it's mostly dry with just a few drops trickling down. It's amazing to think that something like this exists, nature creating something that just keeps burning without any human intervention. What do you all make of this personally? If you have galliaphobia, you might want to skip ahead by a minute. If you don't know what the meaning of the word is, then chances are you don't have it.
My goodness. That is amazing.
Now, if you haven't figured it out already, galliaphobia is the extreme fear of sharks. This clip is some of the wildest yet most amazing clips of sharks we've ever come across. I don't think we've featured a shark here before, but I always thought if we ever did feature a shark, it would be the discovery of the MacLeod or its remains. But rest assured, we haven't discovered or found the MacLeod yet. This isn't a bonus clip, but I thought we'd have a test on your knowledge of sharks. How many different species of sharks can you see in the clip, and what are their names? I haven't made this promise before, but maybe, just maybe, if one person is able to name them all, they may receive a bit of classified captures merch from me. Identify as many species as you can from the clip, and you might just be the first and lucky winner of our merch. Good luck.
Alienígena não tem.
Como?
Alienígena.
Alienígena? O que é isso?
Essa palavra você nunca ouviu falar? Alienígena.
Alienígena, não.
Some people visited a native tribe in Brazil called the Hunikuin and showed them images of a grey alien. And guess what? These natives knew exactly what this creature was. They called it the Man Kunuwabu. According to the natives, these beings were ant people who lived inside the earth. They claimed to have known about the existence of these creatures for thousands of years. To them, these beings are not aliens, but creatures that live on Earth underground. They described these beings as having a unique connection to the Earth, living in vast underground networks. Their stories paint a picture of a hidden world beneath our feet, one that modern science has yet to explore fully. This information is coming from indigenous people who were completely secluded from the modern world, undiluted by contemporary influences. If this is true, then we should definitely be concerned. But how do we confirm its authenticity? Perhaps it's time to send Julius on another one of those trips.
Ficar mexendo com ela demais, ela leva o espírito da pessoa para debaixo da terra também.
Speaking of things I'm not sure are real or not, take a closer look at this. What do you see? In case it was not already clear, the one who uploaded this believes he captured a Bigfoot in his backyard. While I would very much love to believe him, the problem is that the capture is not exactly clear, so I can't tell what we're looking at. Our video editor tried enhancing, but not much came of the capture. I want to believe him, but I just can't see anything. Can you? In this footage from 2011 in the Philippines, we witness a remarkable moment. A group of men working together pulls a massive creature from the river, Lolong, one of the largest crocodiles ever recorded. This incredible animal weighed around 1,000 kilograms, about 2,200 pounds, and measured over 20 feet, 6.1 meters in length. To put that into perspective, that's longer than the average car. Lolong wasn't just any crocodile. His sheer size and strength were reminiscent of a creature straight out of prehistoric times. Crocodiles have been around for millions of years, making them some of the closest living relatives to dinosaurs. Often called living fossils, these ancient predators have changed very little over time, surviving mass extinctions and adapting to harsh environments, all while continuing to reign as apex predators in many ecosystems. If the sheer size of that thing doesn't scare you, then perhaps you are the one we should be afraid of.
First, but one. I'm gonna get. You can. No, you'll be fine. I'm just gonna get more footage of the Sasquatch. Okay, seriously, look how big it is. He's just chilling.
This video was taken in Provo, Utah. A man was out enjoying the view over the mountain when something caught his eye. As he zoomed in on the distant mountain, what appeared on his screen was nothing short of chilling. There, standing on two legs, was a dark, towering figure that looked almost like a living shadow. The creature stood motionless, its silhouette stark against the landscape. What's even stranger is that the mountain was so far away that if it was a human, you wouldn't be able to see it at all, let alone so clearly. The figure was massive, much too large to be a person from that distance. It's hard to imagine a bear or any other animal standing on two legs perfectly still for such a long time. So what exactly are we looking at? Could this be a Bigfoot sighting, or is there something else lurking in those mountains?
First, but one. I'm gonna get. You can. No, you'll be fine. I'm just gonna get more footage of the Sasquatch. Okay, seriously, look how big it is. He's just chilling.
Still on aliens, take a look at this clip that popped up online a few months ago. Could you count the legs on that thing? I counted 5 or 6, but I'm not so sure given the blurry nature of the clip. This was allegedly captured by an individual while traveling at night. Now, we don't know where the clip was taken or what the particular context is, so everything we say will basically be based on speculation. As always, I shared this clip with my team members, hoping to solicit their views, and we had two schools of thought. Julius and his team thought it was fake, while Aaron and his disciples believed this was real. If you ask me, however, I would say it could go both ways. Now, the clip is grainy and blurry, preventing any thorough analysis. Julius thinks it was intentionally made that way to prevent it from being exposed. Aaron, however, has a contradicting view. He believes the clip was spontaneously taken with a bad camera device in low light, which explains the poor quality. He argues that if the quality was any better, then we would had to doubt the clip because no one would be carrying high-resolution cameras while traveling at night. What do you guys think?
Speaking of being critical about details, tell me what you see when you look at this. I asked some team members the same question, and they thought we were dealing with something prehistoric, say a dinosaur. I mean, that's not so odd, because that's what I thought too. But then again, they're extinct, so it couldn't be them, right? So I checked the comments section of the original post to see if there was an explanation, and all I got was different perspectives. Some thought it was flying fish, which makes sense, but then again, it doesn't look like there's any water body around. Some also thought it had to be something related to dragons and fairies. Now that I say that out loud, I know how it sounds, but stay with me. While there were otherworldly submissions like the Phoenix and what have you, there was also more grounded theories like it being a drone. If you've been on this channel for a while, you know we have showcased drones, including those made by the military, to look like things like this for espionage purposes. The big question here is, what exactly are we dealing with? Julius thinks it's probably CGI, and my video editor agrees. You've seen the clip too, so what do you think? After the recent hurricanes in America, a strange video surfaced online showing a bizarre creature that had reportedly been washed out of the sea and onto the streets in the middle of a neighborhood. The creature, covered in dark goo, is seen flopping around on the ground, struggling to move. It appears to resemble a giant octopus, its tentacles wiggling in all directions, but many viewers have called the footage into question, believing it had to be a hoax or staged scene. Looking at the clip again, I feel the frame rate for the creature is lower than the actual footage, but what do I know?
A subscriber sent this in, and it's truly one of the most baffling things we've seen. He captured footage of a waterfall, but instead of the water cascading downwards as you'd expect, it was moving upwards, seemingly defying the laws of gravity. At first glance, you might think it's some sort of optical illusion, but the footage is clear and the water is undeniably moving in the opposite direction. This strange phenomena could have a few explanations. It might be a rare weather event where strong winds push the water upwards, or perhaps something even more unusual is at play. Regardless, seeing something so familiar behaving in such an unexpected way makes you question what other mysteries nature might be hiding. Have any of you ever witnessed something like this? I came across this footage that highlights the animals humans consume the most per year, and some of the choices might shock you. Take a look.
For many, it's unsettling to see animals like horses, camels, and even cats on the list. And yes, dogs are there too. It's chilling to think about that, especially if these animals are beloved pets in some cultures. Of course, it's no surprise that chickens top the list, given their prevalence in diets around the world, but the inclusion of animals like horses and camels, which are often seen as companions or work animals, can be quite disturbing. But then again, it boils down to culture and beliefs. While some animals are considered food in certain parts of the world, they're revered or even sacred in others. Which of the animals on this list are you looking forward to trying? Here we have another UFO footage that was shared online, but no one seems to know exactly where it was taken. In the clip, you can see three strange objects flying in the sky. Nearby, there's a helicopter seemingly observing or investigating the unusual aerial activity. These flying objects have been reported as UFOs, and based on the footage, it looks like authorities may have been dispatched to check them out. With the footage creating a lot of buzz, it's hard not to wonder. Are we looking at another UFO encounter, or is this just fake? Is there a Bigfoot in Georgia? Before you answer, take a look at this.
They got Bigfoot. Found him down here in Georgia. Got him dragging him with that helicopter.
The individual who recorded this clip was going about his day like he usually would when he saw something rather unusual in the sky. There were two military helicopters in the sky carrying something large. At first, he thought it was an object, something classified, but the more he looked, the more he felt it might be a living thing. After staring for a while, he was sure it was a Bigfoot and started to record. As you can see from the clip, however, there's no Samsung Ultra with 100% zoom, so the clip is quite blurry. He is, however, convinced that a Bigfoot, and many have asked how he came to that conclusion. He doesn't say much, only that the clip doesn't do the whole thing justice. So you've seen it, so what do you think?
They got Bigfoot. Found him down here in Georgia. Got him dragging him with that helicopter.
Next, let's take a look at another indigenous group known as the Aforis. They're an intriguing tribe of Hindus who embrace death in a very unconventional way. The Aforis are said to be cannibals who consume the flesh of the dead. After cremation, they smear the ashes all over their bodies. They also drink from skulls and partake in significant amounts of alcohol and marijuana. For the Agoras, these practices are part of their spiritual journey. They believe in the concept of non-duality, which means they see no difference between pure and impure, life and death. By engaging in these extreme practices, they aim to transcend societal norms and break free from the cycle of reincarnation, ultimately achieving enlightenment. Strange, or should I say different, but interesting, wouldn't you agree? Residents of Coral Cape, Florida, were thrown into a frenzy when they observed a mysterious craft hovering over the area at night, casting a blue laser that scanned the land below. The various authorities were contacted about it, but none of them seemed to know what this thing was or why it was sweeping through the neighborhood. One resident, fed up with the lack of answers, purchased a flight radar to get better information on the craft. She discovered that the craft belonged to Randigo LLC. However, that's all the information she could gather. As to who owns this company and the purpose of the laser, residents are still left with no answers. Some members of the paranormal community had this to say. As you can see, everyone is confused and basically skeptical that the government knows nothing about the whole thing. What do you think this could be? Is it a government operation, a private company's experiment, or something else entirely? Let us know in the comments section below. Time travel has always been a fascinating concept involving moving through time. We've all seen it in sci-fi movies, but could it actually be real? Take a look at this intriguing footage from the 1980s. A woman in the crowd is seen using what looks like a mobile phone, and not just any phone. She's holding it sideways like she's recording in portrait mode. But mobile phones haven't even been invented yet at the time. And if that's not strange enough, notice the girl standing next to her. She looks completely shocked, staring at the device in disbelief. So, what's going on here? How could this woman possibly be using a mobile phone decades before they were available? This isn't the only case either. There are other instances where people seem to be using futuristic devices way before their time. Could this be proof that time travelers exist, or is there some other explanation we've missed? I can't confirm the authenticity of this clip, but what do you think?
Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
What the is this? Look at that.
Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
What the
Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
Irrespective of where you're watching this from, you probably by now know that there's a war going on in the Middle East. Missiles are firing left and right, and it's not funny. What many do not know, however, is that some of the clips being shown on TV have some strange artifacts on them. If you've been paying attention to this clip, you should have seen it. There's a black tadpole-like object moving on the left side of the screen. At first, I thought this was not right, but there were many in the comments section of the post who saw it too. This has led to many theories in the online community. Some of them are strange and outright bizarre. Some think it's the spirit of death actively at work in the region being caught on camera. Some also think it might be demons instead. There are many who subscribe to the idea it's a jinn, an evil one to be precise. Some even mentioned aliens, but were not sure how to feel about that one. Did you watch this broadcast? Did you notice anything? If you did, let us know in the comments section.
Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
What the is this? Look at that.
Did you know that the world's largest producer of cigarettes is also behind many of the processed foods we eat today? That's right. The same companies that once focused on getting people addicted to tobacco are now applying similar strategies to make food products addictive and potentially harmful. I'm tempted to mention names, but a part of me feels that will not be the safest thing to do. These companies have mastered the art of creating cravings. They use specific combinations of salt, sugar, and fat to trigger the brain's pleasure centers, making us want more. It's a calculated effort to ensure we keep coming back for more, just like they did with cigarettes. The implications of this are troubling. Just as tobacco addiction leads to numerous health issues, the addiction to processed foods is contributing to the global rise in obesity, diabetes, and other chronic diseases. It's a public health crisis that mirrors the impact of smoking. Now, why do you think these companies might be pushing against growing your food? It's simple: control and profit. If more people start growing their food, it disrupts the demand for their addictive processed products. Homegrown food means healthier choices and less dependency on the food industry's offerings. I know this may be unsettling for some of us, but the next time you're at a grocery store, consider the origins of the various processed foods you see before deciding what to buy.
Perhaps you can help me make sense of this, because at first glance it feels completely unreal. What you're looking at is the Sphinx of Giza. This footage was recorded by someone visiting the area who believes he may have stumbled onto something unusual. If you focus on the Giza plateau, specifically around the head of the Sphinx, you'll notice several openings along the sides. According to the person filming, these are not sealed with stone or traditional restoration materials. Instead, he claims they appear to be covered with what look like modern LED screens. If that's true, it raises an unsettling question. Why would digital displays be installed on one of the oldest monuments on Earth? And more importantly, what are they meant to hide or display? It's a strange collision of past and present, advanced technology placed on an ancient monument, modern convenience resting on sacred ground.
If the original builders of pharaohs could see this scene today, do you think they would take this as progress or something else entirely? Who knows, huh? Anyway, with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us.
Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have.
I've been Steve. This has been Classified Captures. Now do me a favor. Share this with as many people as you possibly can. Let's make 2026 the time when everything on this channel just blows up. Thank you.